Hi, friends. It's your pal Scott Garibay, and today we are going to look at Dungeons and Dragons in context to the new 2023 action film, um, To Catch a Killer. And I want to talk uh, about one specific line in the film. There are spoilers for 2023 To Catch a Killer in here, and the line I want to talk about is, "This world is a prison." Okay. All right. So this was an excellent film. It's a really, really good action film, and it was a sleeper. I learned about it from Grace Randolph. She covered it on Movie Math one week, and she's like, "Hey, there's this new action movie, and it blew up on Netflix, and everybody in the world watched it. But this thing came out in the movies like 2 years ago, and absolutely nobody watched it." Right, and it was created probably by some jank streamer that nobody watches, and yeah, it was created by some jank streamer that streaming service that nobody watched, and it was probably plopped out on that streaming service, and nobody watched it there, and this has happened many times, where then it plops out. It arrives at Netflix, and literally, like, Netflix can really put some eyeballs on a thing. It can get a billion people to watch something easily, right? And I think they're the only streaming service in the world that can do that. Like, they're the only streaming service where something drops out and literally a billion, 2 billion, 3 billion people watch it. Like, that's no other streaming service has the ability to do that. So this movie is about a senior detective, right? With an FBI detective. That's the best way to say that. And then a beat cop in a particular town, and they join together to find a sniper. And this sniper is killing people all over the city, right? And it's not genre, it's not fantasy, it's not sci-fi. It's literally a modern story of catching a sniper. Okay. Now the sniper is Dean Posey, and Dean Posse, excuse me, and he is the son of a U.S. Ranger sniper trainer. So he was never in the military, but he has all the skills of a sniper, right? So they search and they search and they search, and they finally find this guy, and he's killed like 20 people at this point, right? And just taken lives, right? And the reason why is he's incredibly sad, and he's and he says to the beat cop, first of all, he shoots the FBI detective right in the head, kills him, and then comes to the beat cop and is like, I'm incredibly sad. And he says it. He says, "This world is a prison," right? And then he says, "I can't find peace, but I can deliver retribution. I can't find peace, but I can deliver retribution." And he's the retribution he's talking about is, this is a brutal, unfair world, and that is 100% true. There are absolutely abominable, horrible people all over the world. You just look at my comment section, you'll find 50 people using shadow accounts to insult people and say cruel things without consequence. Terrible, horrible monster people, right, to the last. All right, just bad people all over, and you want to bring retribution. You do. You want to bring retribution, but you can't. We live in a civil society, right? But he's like, "I'm going to break the rules of civil society." What was also interesting was, he said, "They have burned our bridges to pleasure," right? And so what I'm fascinated by is this Dean Posse. He is an American male. He's one of these classic American males that is just on track for a death of despair, right? He doesn't have anything that can give him solace except alcohol. All the traditional a man drinks. He drinks a beer, and that's it. That's all that can give you joy. And he can't attract any women because the world is completely upside down, and women have no interest in men. They're like, what for? To get married, to have kids? Nobody wants to do any of that anymore. So he can't, they have burned the bridges. They have burned his bridges to pleasure, right? And there are some guys who there is still a bridge left, right? Like football, I guess. That's a very strong bridge. Makes a lot of guys happy, right? But what really hit me, right, is just so I had I'm an evangelical Christian, and I had this gentleman. I'll never forget what he said. He's like, "Do you weep for the lost?" Right? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, we're saved. We have Jesus. You and I are going to be in heaven together. But do you weep for the lost? You meet them every day. They're going to hell. They're going to be there forever, right? Are you sad for them? And it really made me think, right? And honestly, I am, right? Ever since, that brother in Christ, is like, you need to mourn for the lost. And if you don't, you're not going to save them, right? You're not going to do what's necessary to put God in a position to save them. Christians don't save people. They share the good news, and then that person decides to be saved or not, right? And I do what I can to evangelize, right? I could definitely do a better job, but I do it right here on my own channel. I do it in my own personal life, all of that, right? But what really blew me away was, I think this guy, there's tons of them out there. Like, there are just guys who are like, this world is a prison, right? And what really blows me away with Dungeons and Dragons is I'm so blessed by God. I was born in 1970, and then in 1974, on February 7th, Gary Gygax delivered Dungeons and Dragons, and I am incredibly fortunate. I have been able to see literally every single day of Dungeons and Dragons' existence, right? And there will never be a day of my life where D&D isn't there, right? And I think what's really incredible, right? What blows my mind, right, is this idea of we're not trapped in this world. For you and I, this world is not a prison, right? Gary gave me an identity stack. I have 30 identities that I poured myself into. I have watched the sunset on 30 different worlds. This world has never been a prison for me since I was 12 years old, right? And before then, I was incredibly blessed to have very kind and tolerant parents. And so, this world has never been a prison, right? And that's just not the case. There's a lot of guys who are like, I need to be a tough dude, and I can, drink a beer, and if any lady will have me, I can, be with a lady, but that's it. That's the only thing in the world that's going to be of any help. And the lady part is gone. There are no women yet left who have any interest in men, right? Like, we've created a world where not a woman in the world needs a single man. We're just not in that world anymore. Like, they're all going to college. None of the men are going to college. It's completely disparate. Like, there's no hope, right? And the bottle is just an empty grave, right? It's incredible, right? And I was really moved by this film, and this film just made me incredibly thankful for Dungeons and Dragons. This world has never been a prison for me, but we need to remember there are a lot of guys who it is a prison for, and we can help them. We can release them from the prison of this world by giving them another world to venture into. And that's incredible. Dungeons and Dragons is truly an incredible tool. There's never been anything like it. Not on the secular side. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.